one-of-a-kind art exhibit.
It's an emotional journey through here.
It's what art is in its highest form, and it's an experience.
I haven't really been this affected on a personal level by something.
When I decided to do this project, I didn't even think I would show the paintings because they were so disturbing. And the people I showed them to didn't want to look at them. And that's perfect, because then I'm onto something. Because I always feel if something's so readily accepted and I'm part of the mainstream, then I'm doing something wrong. When I'm creating these works of art, I'm going into very dark places. It really bothers me as an artist and a human being when things happen in the world, in our society, when things are unfair or unjust. It really resonates with me to a point as a human being. It disgusts me and it makes me so frustrated and angry, and I don't know what to do. And so I paint about it. And so my energy goes into that. I really started thinking, these paintings need to be put in an environment that represents the dark and the wounded. I need to get people out of their comfort zone and not in a comfortable gallery looking at paintings and going, oh, that's terrible, and yet they're all comfortable. I wanted people out of their element, into places that are dark and wounded that they would rarely ever go to. Asylums, jails, prisons, this abandoned hospital.
This is the original trauma, emergency area for Linda Vista Hospital. It was the original Santa Fe Railroad Hospital, built in the late 1800s. The hospital has a history of a lot of abuse, neglect. Over time there's been a lot of suffering in here. And especially this room, this is where they would take people to. They would either die or live. They'd be operated on right away if they had an emergency.
These works of art belong in buildings that are being destroyed and demolished because they represent a part of society that is dark and wounded we don't want to look at. And again, if we don't look at our wounds, we can't heal them. And by looking at them in a dark and wounded place, dark and wounded imagery, they can connect with the dark wounds that they have inside themselves.
The dark and wounded awakened an awareness of some of the wounds that I had. I think that the most important thing that the Dark and Wounded series does is that it creates in people an opportunity to reflect on things that are difficult to reflect on. And each person is going to find something about themselves in some of those paintings.
Some moments in there where I kind of felt like I found parts of myself that I'm not very familiar with. It was very moving. I have found the experience to be very cerebral, despite the fact that it is dark. I don't think James is hiding that fact that there's a darkness in everyone, and he exhibits it in the art, and it just is an exploration of your own soul. And I think part of it that was really fantastic for me was that I didn't anticipate this tonight. I just kind of thought I was coming to see some cool art.
At first, I was just coming here to just look at some paintings, but then after walking through and experiencing the whole thing, some of them, like this one, kind of speaks to you in your own sense, like what's going on in your life that maybe you can enlighten or improve upon.
It's an experience that's not intellectual or cognitive for me. It's physical and emotional.
With the paintings and the music and the fact that we're haunted Linda Vista Hospital, there are certain things here that affected me. I'm not sure yet. I'm trying to process it. This is going to take 24 to 48 hours to process this, to really figure out what I've seen.
Stepping into an abandoned asylum and walking the halls, it's going to affect you. You cannot not be affected. I get endless emails of people going, that's the most amazing thing I've ever seen, experienced. It's so profound because it comes right back to them. There's a link that's tying everything through. They're walking through the walls, they're walking through the paintings, they're going through the rooms, and they're experiencing something for themselves.
I do a lot of work with children victims of abuse, and both physical and sexual, and I unfortunately read a lot of reports and interviews and reams of paperwork about the people that do it to them. And that piece, the children resonated with me quite a bit. There was definitely a cyclical aspect that I felt was captured in that piece. And my friend said, and there's so many of her among us. She's everywhere.
It's something that people don't want to look at. And this is why we have a problem, because people aren't looking at it. This is why it continues. You know, people abuse their children grow up and abuse their children. No one's looking at what's going on.
The children freak me right the hell out. I feel as if they're sitting behind a hole in the wall looking at me, and in this building in particular, it's especially creepy because I get the feeling that people are looking at me a lot. You know, I feel like I'm not alone in here. I'm part of the American Paranormal Research Association. We've done a lot of work in this building. I've personally been in this building a lot over the past 3 years. When I walk around the building and I see where the artwork has been hung and the feel of the artwork related to the feeling I get and what I know about the building, it's as if James has his finger on the pulse of this without having been here, like I have, you know, and it's really impressive.
It's not about looking at the paintings alone. Where they're hung is brilliant.
It's a journey because he puts these paintings in a setting, whether it's in a jail or a mental institution or an abandoned hospital. He wants you to feel something.
People have asked me, well, what do you think? What words do you have to describe it? In 3 words, I don't have the words to describe it. I find it very calming. It's maybe surprising, but it surprises me too, but I find it very calming. Paintings are a voice.
The effect I want these exhibitions to have is that people start internalizing and thinking, you know, and not putting blinders on. I want people to walk through and either start communicating with other people or with themselves. Healing comes from within, so my main goal, I think, is for everyone to have an experience, an intimate experience within themselves. And they're going to start looking within. That's where all the change is going to come from. Knowing you're going to die and that you're only here for a short time means you want to take advantage of the time you have here.